Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, though remember they are, there's no astrology in these, so check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. They are general readings, not everything's going to resonate with everybody, that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, oh, wrong one. For your key to the week this week, you have. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know if anybody ever used to watch that. There was a show in the UK. You will only know this if you're in the UK, to be fair. There was a show by French and Saunders called Murder Most Horrid. Fucking hilarious. Anyway, excuse my language. Oh, gosh. We're starting like that, are we? So you've got the Emperor here. And this is for your key to the week, right? So this week, there are... I often see this card and it's started to show up more like this. It's often where you do have to pull rank in some way, where you do have to kind of set boundaries, where you do have to be the hard line in the sand, where you have to kind of do that thing where you are standing firm on a decision, or you are, being the impasse in some way. Now, in all of these different sectors of your life, this week you are becoming your own authority. You're having to put your foot down. And my advice to you would be this. Wherever it is that you feel like you are at the mercy or beholden to somebody else, that's most probably where you need to take control in your own life. And the only way really that you can do that with the Emperor is by taking responsibility. All right? So when it comes to your actions and options, you have the Six of Pentacles. So there's a few ways this could show up. If you have if there's a debt that needs to be paid, or something is outstanding, a payment, a debt, whatever the case might be, just get it done. Right? I know it's December. I know Christmas and the holiday season is just around the corner, so it's not that easy. And I'm not saying like if you've got a huge bill, pay it off. What I am saying is if you have something outstanding and if you have something financial that is a necessity, you need to get it together and get it paid, all right? Because if you allow this to run over, it's going to be a problem later on. You guys are Taurians. You tend to be pretty good with this stuff, but life is life, and every so often something falls through the cracks for all of us. In terms of the options that are available to you, this does actually look like some kind of support or potentially a gift that shows up for you, potentially of a monetary nature. So then you've got the Moon card in your communications and conversations. So nothing is clear this week, right? You're not getting the full story, and it makes sense because Mercury is retrograde. It starts its retrograde this week. Now, for you, Mercury rules your money houses, right? Well, it certainly rules your second house of money, finances, and resources. It also rules your fifth house of pleasure, joy, romance, speculative endeavors. And I will say, especially with all of these cards, I know it's not an astrology reading, but especially with all of these cards, I would be very mindful about handing money over to friends. I would be really careful about getting into any sort of get-rich-quick scheme. Whatever it says that it's going to do on the tin is a Mercury retrograde. The chances are it's probably not. All right. Now, when it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, there's potentially a hiccup with your funding here. Or it could be that you realise that you haven't been as smart or as careful with your funding, the money that you've received, as you possibly could, and now it starts to become an issue. Fix it sooner rather than later. When it comes to your... When it comes to your... Oh, come on, brain. I've gone completely blank. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, the Moon card is the past. So some kind of past commitment, some kind of past offer might come back around for some of you. This could be for, maybe your boss comes to you and says, oh, that overtime that you said you wanted, it's now possible. So there is a chance to increase the money here, but it will come with extra hard work, basically. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this could be a reconnection to somebody that you had worked with or done business with, or maybe had hoped to, but it didn't go through, and they come back around. The problem is they're going to try to haggle you or negotiate on the price, so I would just be mindful of that. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, if there is someone in your midst that constantly asks you for money, or whenever they show up, they've always got their hand out, their hat off and in their hands and all of that kind of thing, you may find this week that you really potentially lose your temper, because you've got the Emperor here as well. So it might just be like, this is one time too many. When it comes to your love and relations, you've got the Seven of Wands. So that's interesting. Quick one. Remember, your year ahead astro taroscopes are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. You can get those on the link in the description box below. As if that wasn't enough, the New Year, New Frequency program is up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. Trust me, you are going to love it. I am so proud of this, and I stand by it 100%. It is probably one of the best things I've ever created, if not the best. And as if that wasn't enough, I can tell you without a doubt, there is nothing else like it out there. All right, so you can also get that on the link in the description box below. If you're only going to purchase one New Year, New Frequency, make sure it's for your sun sign. It's going to be the most soul aligning for 2024. All right, so Seven of Wands in your love and relations. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there's potentially an old argument or dispute that comes up this week that never seems to get resolved. It comes up, you talk about it, you talk about it, things die down, and then you think, we'll just agree to disagree. Well, the problem is you've done that so ever many times, and this is like, like the boy who cried wolf. There's only so many times you're going to be able to sweep this under the carpet, and this week it's kind of saying to you, you're done with that now. You have to just kind of address it and then move beyond it. All right, like there's an elephant in the room that needs to be sorted. For those of you that are single, this could literally be a reconnection with somebody from the past, and I've got to say, if that is the case, I can tell you without a doubt you didn't part on good terms with this person. So, maybe you're the one that got away, or they're the one that got away. Maybe, you ended the relationship for a very specific reason. I'm sorry to say they will come back around, but they definitely haven't changed. All right, so take of it and make of it what you will. For your money and materials, you have the Six of Swords. So money is actually improving for you, even with some of these other things that I talked about. So you've got the Six of Pentacles with the Six of Swords. 2 sixes represents balance or irritability, and I'm going with balance this week. Especially because you've got the Emperor, which is the steadying force. It means that your finances will start to improve once you start putting your foot down, once you start getting honest, and more importantly, once you start dealing with whatever it is that's outstanding. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Six of Swords tends to show up. For those of you that have had any problems, because you've got the Emperor here, for those of you that have had any problems with walking, any problems with your legs, specifically your lower legs, for those of you that have got things like DVT, deep vein thrombosis, for those of you that have got varicose veins or anything like that, this might actually be a good week to go to your doctor and have a little checkup around anything like that. Most of the time people manage it, and they manage it really well, and it's not an issue. But this week I do feel like you probably want to maybe go and get some extra added support. Remember, I'm not a doctor. This is not a diagnosis or anything like that, but I can kind of point you in the right direction. And I've had some clients come back to me and say to me like, dude, you said that this was going on. I went to my doctor, I had it checked, bam, it was that. So, and then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, you've got the Six of Swords. There is a return here For those of you that have split up with somebody recently, there is a return of some sort. There is a reconnection, maybe not necessarily a rekindling, but there's definitely a reconnection of some sort. And there's a potentially a very hard conversation that needs to be had, where some home truths are spilled on both sides. So it will be interesting to see how this shows up for you, for a lot of you guys. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.